how agriculture sector is contributing to the growth of Indian economy. That means contribution of agriculture. See, I'll just draw a a framework. What is that we are going to discuss here? See, contribution of agriculture to the growth rate. All right. And next one, in this contribution, what are we trying to do? We are going to promote more the agriculture. This is called as industrial segments of the agriculture. What are the negatives of this and what are the positives of this? Along with this, we are working very hard on carbon farming. Okay, and out of this, Meghalaya is the first country, sorry, Meghalaya is the first state which is working very hard to bring this act. So in the future, we could get to see that the carbon farming act may come into picture, and people who are preparing for the mains for civil services and also mains for the state services of Group 1, I'm very sure this question will be in your exam. What is carbon farming? Is it essential that a carbon farming act should be brought in, okay, where that the farmers' income can be increased and India can come out from this, the mindset of the food crisis in the future, also protecting the interests of the BPL families, okay, so that you can produce more supply of this PDS system. So what are the benefits of bringing of this Carbon Farming Act? So this is the topic which I have posted in the last so that I can connect all the nodes and finally I can explain the carbon farming techniques. The statement which they have given in the newspaper is why carbon is the crop of the future. So what is that they wanted to convey here? So why are you calling carbon as the crop of the future? Why do you want to call this carbon as the crop of the future? See, very importantly, we know like the basics part, like for photosynthesis, okay, you need carbon dioxide, okay, and if the carbon is emitted in a large scale, it will definitely warm the environment, okay, leading to greenhouse gas, leading to the greenhouse gas effects. See, if the carbon is high, if the carbon is high, what will happen? If the carbon is high, obviously more carbon, more heating. See, in the end of the class, I will link this topic to the economy part. Okay, so remember, as the carbon is more emitted, obviously it will heat. So when the carbon heat our earth, what will happen? Impacting effect will be there. This will lead to the changes in the climate, which we call it as an climate change. All right, which we call this as an climate change. Now, what government is planning, let us bring carbon farming techniques, okay, so that you will take some measures and farmers can get income, and also the growth of the economy will be higher from the agriculture section. That means you produce more, production should be increased, okay, farmers income should be higher, production should be increased, farmers income should be higher, and remember, this should not make any, this increase in the production should not make any impact on the climate change and global warming. That means it should be a win-win situation for everyone, for the farmers, okay, for the country, for the growth, okay, as well as for the global warming and climate change environmental perspective. So this is about the basics. What is that we are going to study in this session? Now, industrial agriculture in economy. Let me take first this topic. What is industrial agriculture in economy? Industrial agriculture means industrialization in the agriculture section. In a very simple language, I can say it is industrialization of agriculture, industrialization of agriculture in Indian economy. So there is no proper seating arrangement today for me. So I have to sit in this way. So my one shoulder goes up. So don't think that sir is behaving like Pushpa. Okay. So industrialization of agriculture. That means increase in the use of farmlands. Simple definition you can write down. Increase usage of farmlands. Usage of farmlands in economy. This is the simplest definition of industrial agriculture in economy. What is industrial agriculture? Let me repeat you. It is an increase in the usage of farmlands in economy. What is the meaning of this? Meaning here is you produce more, okay? You produce more to what happened? You produce more so that it will contribute to the growth of the economy. It will contribute to the growth of the economy. You are producing enormously. You're producing enormously so that this production is contributing to the growth, contributing to the exports, contributing to the farmer's income. See, make a note of every point. I'm writing it very clearly. See, first, what is industrial agriculture? It is increase in the usage of farmlands, okay, which is contributing to the economy. That will increase the growth, that will make an exports, that will increase the farmer's income, etc. Now, along with this, government is planning so that this industrialization will give highest yields. Will give and highest yields in the economy. Now, definitely why it is going to give you highest yield? So that it can give us more profits. Profits to whom? Profits to the country, profits to the farmers, etc. What is that we are practicing? We have brought a lot of technology so that farming can be done extensively. We have brought a lot of technology so that farming can be done extensively. Okay, this has created a negative impact. What are the negative impacts of bringing this industrialization in the agriculture segment? We started this industrial segments from 1966. We started this industrial segments from 1966 with the introduction of, give me a second, with the introduction of Green Revolution, in the Indian economy. Tell me one question. I'm asking you a very simple question. When did the Green Revolution, after which plan we started Green Revolution in India? Third 5-year plan. Very nice. Good. 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 1966 to 67. 1966 to 67, which is in the first plan holiday. Okay. That is from 1966 to Yes, from 1966 to 67. Okay. Now from then on, we have started this industrialization concept. See, this industrialization concept has yielded as a good result. This has yielded a very good result, but the negative impacts of this are very, very high. This is what you should know. Now, what are the negative impacts of this? See, more emissions, more production, more emissions. Now, to come out from these emissions, what is that we are trying to do? We have introduced a new concept, which is called as carbon farming. Okay. Second one, emission is a negative impact. And second negative impact, this has also created an unemployment. People will say, sir, this is agriculture. How did you say that this has created an unemployment in the country? This has brought the concept of technology, which has led to disguised, disguised unemployment in the country. Disguised unemployment is the very a negative side of unemployment, because it mostly impact the agriculture section, mostly impact the unskilled labor in the country. Then what government can do, even the skill has been provided, people may not be ready to take the skill, may not be ready to immediately move to upgrade, because these are the people who are daily into the wage laborers. You can't expect them forcibly to take the skills. So government has come up with many other programs such as Manrega, etc., National Rural Livelihood Mission, etc. Okay. Next, this enormous production also started leading to the health issues. Okay. Also started leading to the health issues. That means you started producing more. Okay. To increase the production, it has showed a negative impact in the health. You started using more pesticides, started using more chemicals. Okay. Started using more NPK ratios. This has impacted the health wise. Unemployment is an issue. Emissions is an issue. Health issue. Okay. Next, regional farming. Regional farming is one more negative aspect. Regional farming means what? Only few areas which are mostly connected to very important nodes in the country. What are the important nodes in the country? Nodes in the country means those areas where you have high connectivity. See, obviously connectivity is high. Definitely it is very feasible for the farmers to produce and go and sell in the market. So this industrial areas, industrial agriculture will benefit to whom? Mostly the areas which have high connectivity. Nodes which are connected to every area. So this is going to benefit us. This is going to benefit us, not for all the farmers. This is going to benefit only few of the farmers. Okay. This will create a regional imbalance. This will create a regional imbalance. Few farmers will become a very rich, other set of farmers will go very, very weak in terms of their income. And very weak, obviously, they'll not be in a position, they'll again depend on the government's subsidies, government's programs. So, this is another negative impact. Migration will be high now. Migration will be high because this region is most developed. When this region is more developed, what will happen? People migrate from the region where there is less economic activity, less industrialization in agriculture, to that area where you have more industrialization or more agriculture. So what are the negative side of impacts? Negative side of impact, first one is you have enormous amount of emissions. Second one, this has resulted into unemployment because technology also brings unemployment. Technology only support skilled people. Technology does not need n number of people. It need only few. Okay. For example, a farmer's family has 10 members. Earlier used to work manual. Now, due to technology, we need only 2 members. Other people will result into disguised unemployment. Third one, technology or this industrial in agriculture, okay, has made an impact on the health because now You're not getting that kind of quality which agriculture used to produce earlier. Now you started using lot of pesticide chemicals. You want to produce more, government is giving subsidies. Implement those things and get the result. So this is one negative impact, that is an health impact. Regional is one more. Regional aspects is one more. It is creating an imbalance. And finally, that is a fifth point, which is creating a migration. Migration is happening from one area to the other area. Okay, migration is happening from one area to another area. Sixth one, they also claim that the cost of inputs, or the basic investments when you have brought technology has become very high. The farmer has to input more, farmer has to produce, then farmer has to invest more. This investment lead to increase in the basic price of the goods. So prices of the goods are also going high. This will lead to food inflation in the country. Okay, this is how you connect your points one after the other. See, cost of inputs have become very high. Farmer has to invest more. Okay, and finally, this investments will increase the basic prices of the crop. Okay, or the produce good. So these prices go high. Okay, and this is creating an food inflation. Example, this will lead to cost push inflation in the country. This is what the terms you are expected to use. This is leading to cost push inflation in the country with respect to increase in the basic prices of the goods. Okay, next, United Nations. I hope you have noted these points. United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Okay, United Nations Framework Convention on the Climate Change recently has projected that, sir, agriculture sector, this is a very important point. Agriculture sector, okay, contributes 14%. Agriculture sector contributes 14% of total greenhouse gas emissions. All right. So remember this number. Agriculture sector contributes 14% of the total greenhouse gases emissions. All right. Out of this, the rice cultivations is very high. All right. The emissions from this rice cultivations will be very high. Basically, you can take the example of carbon and also the methane content. All right. So India's, I mean, like industrial agriculture, I have taught you like positives and what are the negatives. Now, what are the solutions for this? What are the possible solutions? Let us take an answer, that is carbon sink is an answer for this. You have to work very hard in terms of the carbon sink. Next, what is carbon sink? Carbon sink is the concept where you have to go for certain techniques where carbon can be absorbed. You have to go for certain techniques where carbon can be absorbed. How will you absorb the carbon? From where carbon needs to be absorbed? From the atmosphere. So how will you absorb this? Making use of technology. Making use of natural. Making use of technology is one option. Making use of natural is another option. If you use technology, we call this as an carbon sequestration. This can be asked in your prelims. What is carbon sequestration? That means coming up with one artificial technologies which can absorb the carbon from the atmosphere, reducing the carbon content and storing the carbon permanently. Storing the carbon basically in machines. This is called as carbon sequestration. If you take natural means what? Very environmental purpose. We have blue carbon sink. We have blue carbon sink and we have green carbon sink. Okay, we have two types of carbon sink. One is blue carbon sink, other one is green carbon sink. Blue carbon sink means water bodies. Green carbon sink means through the green cover, for example, forest. Increase the forest cover, carbon can be captured. Increase the blue bodies, water bodies, carbon can also be captured and they can be stored permanently under sediments in the water or aquatic organisms, etc. All right. So you can look here. I mean, like atmospheric content where carbon content is high, you can go for a green carbon sink or you can go for the blue carbon sink. So water bodies is one case. Another case is you will be having an option of the green plants. Next, carbon market is one very good option for the government. In this market, we basically in economy, we trade. This might be very new to you. In any case, if you have doubt, you can always come down to the my place or you can drop me a message. So this is because all this are connected to your economy. See what is trade. See what is carbon market. What is carbon market in economy? Carbon market or carbon trade. See, one is trading, one is offsetting. This is little tricky. You have to understand now. First option is trading. Second option is offsetting. See, trading means trade the carbon certificates. Trade the carbon certificates. See, in the class, I have already taught you, whichever institution you belong, most of the institutions have taught their economy. PSL certificates, where one banking institutions earn more, okay, by lending more PSL. So PSL certificate, they can trade from one bank to other bank. Okay, so same way, carbon certificates. The carbon certificates, for example, take a company A and take a company B. In India, Bureau of Energy, BEE, Bureau of Energy Efficiency Standards will set, okay, BEE will set, okay, certain standards. That means you should not cross 50% of carbon emissions in the country. So A is a company which basically use fossil fuels like coal, petrol, etc. And it would have crossed 50%, it would have touched 60%. And B is the one which uses green energies, green energy or technologies like shale, you will use it. Okay, like solar, you will use it, like wind to produce the energy. Now, what will you do? You have produced the goods, okay, and you did not cross the target set by BEE. So what will you do? BEE will issue the carbon certificates, okay, carbon certificates to B. And these certificates have some value. And this value will give you one certificate which can be traded in the market. Which can be traded in the market now. Who has to buy? A has to buy. And who has to sell? B has to sell. So both of them will buy and will sell these goods in the market. Same like PSL certificates. So these are called as carbon trading. Trading of the carbon certificates where one company has reduced its greenhouse gases, other company has crossed its greenhouse gases, and this has to purchase and this has to sell. Okay, so these are called as the carbon market system in India, which basically is being set, the standards are set by the BEE. I hope this is very, very clear. Next, what is carbon offset in the market system? What is carbon offset? and carbon offsetting. Carbon offset means, for example, Germany. Take a case of Germany. Germany is very much into automobiles. Okay, Germany is very much into the automobile industries. Okay, its job is to produce a lot of vehicles, automobile sections, electronics, etc. So Germany is predominantly into this section where most of the time, most of its production is dependent upon the fossil fuels. It is very difficult for Germany to cut down immediately this usage of coal. It's not possible. So what will you do? Now you have got a lot of options. What are the options which have been given for Germany? See, Germany, like the following, it has to follow the standards set by UNFCCC. That means you have to reduce your carbon emissions. But you are not in a position to reduce, or you are not in a position to immediately shift to technology. It's not possible for me to immediately shift to technology. So Germany, for example, UNFCCC has set a standard of 30% is the maximum emission you can make it out of carbon. Carbon emissions from Germany is set at 30% only. Now imagine Germany has crossed to 50%. Now Germany has got an option to trade in the market, buy these certificates. Is one option, like everyone has. Companies in Germany can trade so that they can buy the certificates from those companies which are ready to sell. This is one option Germany has. Second option it has is to offset. Second option it has is to offset. Now, what do you mean by offset? Offset means what Germany will do, Germany will choose a country like India. Germany will choose a country like India. What does it do in India? What does it do in India? Germany will develop certain projects in India. Develop certain projects in India. What are the projects? Solar, wind, hydel, okay, shale. Such kind of projects are developed by Germany in India. And due to these projects, who is using these projects? India is using these projects, and India will reduce its emissions. India will reduce its emissions now. When India reduces its emissions, there is some percentage change. See, when compared to 2021, in 2022, India started using these projects. Who developed these projects? Germany developed these projects. Where? In India. India did not develop. India did not invest. Germany invested in India and it developed the projects. Now India started shifting from coal. India started shifting from coal to these green projects. Now you started using these green projects. That means India has reduced its emissions. I'm not saying Germany has reduced its emission. India has reduced its emissions. What is the percentage India has reduced? All gets contributed in the account of Germany. This is called as offsetting. There are two concepts. One is the trade, okay, where you'll buy and sell the certificates. There's one more concept which is called as offset. Offset, what you'll do? You will develop the projects in the developing countries like India, Sri Lanka, Nepal, etc., making these countries to follow or to shift from coal to such projects which will actually reduce, okay, which will actually reduce the emissions by making them to shift to the newer or higher technologies. So this is called as transfer of green technologies from one country to another country, which is making an impact in the growth of the developing country's economy, India's economy. India is shifting from coal to technology. When India shifted from coal to technology, India stopped emitting percentages. It is not only reducing India's emissions, plus it is also developing India. All right. It is not only reducing India's emissions, it is also developing India. See, Germany. So what is that Germany can do? It can show to UNCCC or UNDPs that, sir, I'm not in a position to reduce because traditionally, predominantly, I'm using fossil fuels. I'm using only manual. I'm not in a position to immediately shift to 100% technology. I am still using fossil fuels. So what option you will give to me? Sir, I'll go for offsetting. I will go for trading of certificates. Trading of certificates also I can do it. Offset, I can do it. Better you go for offset, because of you, somebody else is also getting developed. Okay, so out of the two options, according to you, which is the best option? Is it the trade? Is it the trade, or is it the offset, which will bring maximum development in the country? Which of the following will bring maximum development in the country? Lovely, very good. I hope all this, nearly this 120 people have followed, making me very happy that you caught this in the first instant. Mr. Crocodile, you have raised the hand. How come you got this name, yaar, Crocodile? All right. So good. So this is trade can also do, Bharadwaj. Trade can also do, but offset is something better than trade. Offset is better than trade. Carbon trade is the trade which two companies or two countries are trading in carbon certificates. Carbon trade is a trade where two companies or the countries, they trade in carbon certificates. One is buying, other is selling, as simple as that. And offsetting means you're trying to offset. You're trying to offset your emissions. You're not in a position to reduce. So you're trying to offset by developing other countries, enriching other countries into green technologies. This is called as carbon offsetting. How carbon trade will decrease emissions? See, carbon trade is not going to decrease the emissions. It is going to add penalties. That's what I told you. Because one country is the money received from the trade certificate, for which purpose it's used. Mr. Pawan Kumar, the money received from trade, that's your money. You have reduced your emissions, right? That means you were earlier using fossil fuels. Now you are using green technology and you have reduced the emissions. Okay. You would have got bank loans. You would have want to make some other investments. So it's an encouragement. Go for green technologies. I'm promoting you with certificates. So what is the benefit of giving PSL? What is the benefit of giving more PSL? TOT means transfer of technology. What is the benefit of giving more, like PSL loans, Pavan? It goes to BEE Banerjee. It goes to BEE or to the international agencies like UNFCCC. All right. So this is about the concept of to encourage rural development. That's it. Here I'm encouraging the environment, development of environment, green technology. Everyone, if they go for these technologies, countries will be developed and you sell the certificates. Few will be not in the position to immediately shift, but it will take some time. All right. So this is about the concept of carbon trade. Okay. Now let me take another topic there. What is the meaning of industrial agriculture? I have taught you already. What is the meaning of regenerative agriculture? What do you mean by regenerative agriculture? Generating the agriculture. That means already we have moved from traditional agriculture practices. Now we have moved to industrial agriculture practices. You have started making use of more technology in the country. Now what we have to do it, you have to come back to the basic principles of traditional practices, which means you have to regenerate the agriculture. Regenerate agriculture practices. What you should do it? How do you regenerate? See, regenerate agriculture in two types. Reduce emissions Okay. Second thing, increase production, reduce emissions. Second one, increase production. So these are the basic objectives of regenerative agriculture. What are the principles? Minimize the soil disturbances is one of these principles. Maximize the crop diversity. Go for multiple crops, more crops, which will increase the production of the country. Keep the soil covered. Why do you have to keep the soil covered? So that there could not be any reflective purpose. Okay, which can actually absorb more carbon. All right, so this could be benefit. Salinity, yes. Unnecessarily weeds can be grown up, which can eat away the NPK contents, etc. Next, maintain the living root year round. That means what? Year round, you are maintaining the standards. Follow the NPK standards. Okay, follow along with this. Follow the other important standards which can promote the root density, fertility, also the nutrient cycle. Also the nutrient cycle. Integrate livestock. That means encourage the dairy farming. Encourage the dairy farming. What are the key outcomes? It will definitely improve the soil health. It will improve the biodiversity. It will improve the economic resilience. Okay, sorry, economic resilience in the farming communities. So both of the things we are going to improve. This is called as regenerative agriculture system in India. Not only in India, in other sort of sectors also, we can make use of this regenerative agriculture system. So this is about the regenerative agriculture system, which I have already taught. Now, carbon sink, carbon market. Now, what is carbon farming? Why is India back to bring this carbon farming act? The carbon farming act, there are certain themes. There are few important principles. What are the most important principles? Carbon farming means this will help to incentivize. This will help to incentivize our farmers incentivize means trying to provide some sort of benefits our farmers to introduce. Remember this term again, I'm using regenerative agriculture system. So you know now what is regenerative agriculture. So you are trying to incentivize the farmers so that they can get some sort of benefits so that they can introduce this regenerative agriculture system. Okay. Now carbon farming will help so that the farmers can maximum get benefits out of their lands. Farmers can actually get benefits out of their lands in terms of reduction of emissions, in terms of increase in production. So these are the two important principles. One is reduce emissions, other one is increase the production. Both the thing has to be done. This is called as carbon farming. What will happen to this? This will increase the biodiversity in the country. This will increase the biodiversity in the country. Okay. And it will increase the air quality in the country. Okay. And it will reduce soil erosions, improves the soil fertility. Okay. And make sure that there is an increase in the efficiency in the agriculture system in the country. In the agriculture system in the country. Now, there is one very important initiative which has been introduced recently, that is an international initiative for per 1000. Make sure that you write this in your class notes. Okay, and you use this term in your mains, which was launched as part of 2015 Paris deal. Okay, 2015 Paris deal, that Paris conference, which says that there is an increase. What is 4 per 1000? That means 4 per 1000 is increasing soil carbon, increasing soil carbon, that is the worldwide, increasing the soil carbon worldwide by just 0.4 percentage, 0.4 percentage yearly, which will offset that particular year's new growth in carbon. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? That means if you consider your land space, this is actually capturing the carbon. Okay, that means what is that you are doing? You're doing agriculture here. This agriculture is actually capturing the carbon. That is called as 4 per 1000. That is 0.4 percentage, which is newly produced carbon dioxide, which is getting captured. This is the scheme which has been introduced under Paris Deal 2015. 4 per 1000 means 0.4% yearly is being captured. New carbon which is getting emitted in the market, that is actually getting captured by this better agriculture system, which comes under the carbon farming. So this practice was actually put forward by Meghalaya. They actually wanted to bring carbon farming act in their state, okay, which will create a protocol for sustainable agricultural practices. So Carbon Farming Act will bring a protocol which will make sustainable agricultural practices not only in Meghalaya, but also in putting an example for the entire northeastern states, because already Sikkim has come up with the concept of moving completely to the organic. So the same way, Meghalaya now will come up with a concept where it can actually consider the entire project, okay, of this carbon farming, which India can also take an example. Okay, so someone asked me what is 4 per 1000. 4 per 1000 is very simple. 4 per 1000 is what? 0.4%. 0.4% of what? Carbon dioxide. What are you doing? You're trying to absorb. How are you going to absorb? With the best agricultural practices. You follow the best agricultural practices and you can actually absorb that into 100 year. We are taking the ratios. So again, it comes around 0.4 percentage. Okay, so 0.4 percentage of the carbon content, which yearly with the best agricultural practices in a year you are going to capture. Okay, that means there is no new carbon. Already existing carbon will be there. That is the meaning of that. That is no new carbon, which is already existing carbon will be there in the market. Carbon farming means, in a very simple words, I wanted to give a small definition. Carbon farming means, generally farming means what? Farming means going for agriculture. Why 4%? Because why 4% means how much you are absorbing is only 4%. That means 4% every year what you are emitting, 4% is being captured. by the agriculture. See, there is lot of carbon emissions from vehicles, from industries, okay, from agriculture systems, etc. There is a lot of carbon. Please don't post any chat. First listen. There is a lot of carbon being emitted from the industries, from the vehicles, from the agriculture system. All right. Now this carbon definitely moves to atmosphere, which is very harmful. What does the Paris deal says? Try to reduce this carbon content so that you can maintain the average earth temperature from 1.5 to 2 degrees centigrade. Now what you are doing in the atmosphere, what you have already, this carbon which is present, the carbon can be an old carbon which is already existing. Carbon can be a new carbon. This new carbon which is there, now you come up with this new carbon with respect to this carbon farming. This carbon farming, that is, come with a very sustainable practices of the agriculture, which can actually absorb the new carbon present in the atmosphere. This is called as carbon farming. You cannot absorb already existing huge amount of old carbon. You come up with some other technology. You come up with the technology. That means 4%, that is 0.4%, you can annually reduce 0.4% of carbon dioxide. You can annually reduce from atmosphere. This is called as 0.4%. 4% means you can actually reduce the percentage of carbon from the, yes, what is the types of practices? You go for sustainable practices, green practices, okay, so that these green practices will not make enormous amount of emissions. For example, you follow regenerative agricultural practices. Don't go for higher tilling. Don't go for higher tilling. Siltations will also release a lot of carbon. So such kind of things you are not going to encourage here. Follow only the traditional practices which can reduce or which can absorb the carbon content. See, generally carbon farming you can also take like afforestation. What does afforestation will do? Will capture the carbon. Simple words. Go for green plants. Green plants will capture 4% annually. They can capture. Even this way also you can easily understand. All right. So what are the topics which we have discussed now are very important for your prelims as well as mains. Regenerative agriculture with rice crop, yes, but with the other practices we can easily reduce. Okay, so I'll just ask you one simple question. What is the meaning of blue carbon sink? Yes, Kiara, 0.4% means from the total carbon of atmosphere. Which of the following uses technology? If the carbon sink, okay, if you want to capture carbon, just let me tell you the question first. If I want to capture the carbon, okay, and store it in the machines, what is the term which is called as? What is the term we are referring to? This was asked in your prelims, a very important question. It is called as carbon sequestration, okay, because this is not natural. All right. So this is about the most important topic: regenerative agriculture practices, carbon farming, blue carbon green, and industrial farming practices.